right. We're back. We're going to talk a little bit about de minimis use. This is something that's even less than fair use. We'll start off with a hypo. The kids in journalism want to start a podcast. As part of that, they want to have intro and outro music, which is Mirrors by Justin Timberlake. Can they? Which I listened to this morning for the very first time, even though you said I had heard it before.
You're welcome, Steve.
I said Steve has no idea what the song is.
I told Steve Mirrors by Justin Timberlake would be part of my intro outro music if I had a podcast.
If we have extra time at the end, I'll show you how I can dance just like Justin Timberlake.
We're not gonna have time.
So we have a couple of cases, one that came out each way, but what they do here, this is another area, again, no bright line rule, so it's kind of frustrating. And so when you call, it might be the answer is it depends, and maybe. But in Sandoval, this was the case that involved the movie Seven. And what we had was some photographs that were in the background. And as it turns out, the only person who absolutely would have known that those were his photographs was the person who took them. And he sued, of course, because that's what we do. And so the court said, well, those photos appeared fleetingly. They were obscured by people and objects. They were out of focus. They were very blurry. And they were virtually unidentifiable except to this guy. And so they said, no, that's clearly a de minimis use, and we're not going to hold that there was a copyright violation for that. It was simply a background blurry item. Then we have the Ringgold case, which was the old TV show Rock, which I had to go look up because I don't think I remember that one. But with this one, we had a poster in the background for 27 seconds, but it was clearly visible. It was recognizable, and there was a lot of detail in that picture, so everybody could tell what it was. And they said that is a copyright violation. So you can see there, again, not a bright line rule, but sometimes we can even get away with a so-called de minimis provision. So practical advice, obviously less is more, and less comes from the heart of the work. The one we were kicking around yesterday was can't get no satisfaction. You take that one riff out of there. That's the song. Everybody knows what that is. So you could have, just with that little riff, that could be a copyright violation if you take that little part. Difficult to have a de minimis use of an image Googled and then used on a website. Let's face it, it's everywhere.
So I always struggle with how to articulate what I'm presenting on copyright, the difference between de minimis and fair use, because the amount and substantiality of the use is part of the fair use argument. I think here's the difference. You have a student who puts a picture on a part of your website that he created in web design class, and it's the basketball going through the hoop. That's there forever, every day for people to find. That same student puts that picture one time in the slideshow at graduation. It scrolls through, it's there for 3 seconds as a cover photo. In the case of the graduation, we can argue both fair use and de minimis, or at least we try. But in the case where it's on your website, we can't argue de minimis use because it's not possible, right? We're going to have to find some fair use. It's the whole picture, it's there all the time. So de minimis, to the extent Steve said is less than fair use, is true. And that doesn't mean that you should just start continually using a smaller sample, right?
Yes.
Because it's not necessarily what it's talking about. It's talking about it's truly so small that we don't even have to get to fair use.
And the cases for the various ways that you can have a copyright violation, they're all over the place. There is no standard answer that we can give you on these. So if you're looking at using one of these and want to know if it's de minimis, you're going to have to check with each use on each of those items, right? All right, so they want to use the Mirrors by Justin Timberlake. Can they? We probably need more information. How much are they using? How much are they sampling? Or, from the ones I saw this morning, one was 4.5 minutes long. There's original. There's a remix that's, well, maybe 10.5 minutes long that I listened to. But anyway.
Old man listening to Justin Timberlake at 6 a.m. This
I wish I could have seen that.
And so you need to know more. Oh, you guys are killing me. So it depends upon the amount used, obviously.
Yes.
Keep in mind, if it's posted, they will be on the internet searchable. They will find you.
That's where people get tagged.
And that's where, you saw that little basketball picture. Are you kidding? They have these bots. They search for you. They find you. They will tag you. And you've got some decent companies that actually just want what they're entitled to. But you've got these other squatters that'll come after you for thousands of dollars for taking some stupid little picture. So you just have to be really careful.
I will be surprised if we have questions on de minimis use, although we put a space in here because that just seemed to, this fits. Basically, we wanted to include de minimis because we don't want you to, like it's out there on the internet, we don't want you to rely on it too much. Basically, it's don't do this at home, call your lawyer first. So